Shabbat Shalom. This Shabbat is a very special parasha, parasha Bo. And what I have entitled this message is the birthing of a nation. Before I start, let me share with you a mashal, a modern mashal. That means a modern parable. It's known in the regular English. You know, today in this age, it's very common sometimes and they are trying to do policies about it, about the idea of the surrogate mothers. No? And basically, a surrogate mother is the one that receives the embryo inside her womb, even that she is not the real mother, but for 9 months, take care of that embryo to grow to the end, and then is born the baby. But the baby belongs to other parents. No? Well, let me tell you the birthing of a nation. Israel, the Creator chose a surrogate mother. And that surrogate mother was Egypt. You know? And the Creator put there the embryo, the child. You know, I want to be very honest to you. I dislike the word fetus, or fetus. That is a term that has been used by humanity to dehumanize the human beings. You know, to take away. Because you go to any scientific book or doctor's books, and they're going to tell you that once there is conception, there is nothing else that is added to that conception. The only thing that the mother does, or the incubator does, is letting grow the baby. Not the fetus, the baby. Because it's already formed. The only thing that needs to do is to grow, to arrive to completion, to be born. Now, Egypt was the surrogate mother. You know, the baby cannot you cannot do anything to the baby. You cannot add it or take anything from the baby in the mother. You know, they have their own DNA, they have their own blood, and everything else is totally independent from the mother, only is in the sustenance or giving breathing. The baby starts breathing through the mother and being fed through the mother. You know, many times we say, there are many mothers who don't care about their babies, and they don't care about their health. They eat whatever they eat, they smoke, they drink, and who is the one that they suffer? Is the baby. We have seen lately many cases of mothers who are addicted to drugs, that when the baby is born, the babies are addicted to drugs. You know, they need to take it out. But let me keep giving this mashal. Then the baby got the time that the baby is born. That is her blade, the pains of giving birth. And it stands inside the womb of the mother, and the mother wants to get rid of it. Doesn't matter, no, but I need to let it go. You know? And Egypt got to the point that needed to let it go. It was too much. And this baby was born. Now, what the people don't understand, remember, the baby when it's inside of the womb of the mother is like a fish. It's breathing like a fish. Okay? And then when it's born, literally, the baby needs to die in order to revive. You know? And this is a very traumatic experience. If the baby could decide it, the baby will stay in the womb of the mother until it's 90 years old. You know? Then the baby needs to be pushed out. Look at Israel when needed to get rid of him. Then had a traumatic experience, going from breathing like a fish to breathe on his own. Okay? And this is something that is very... And suddenly, was a baby girl. Well, what do you say, Rabbi? What do you know a boy? If you are a reader of the Torah and the Tanakh, you're going to know that Israel is always considered a girl. It's a she. And you know, to the point that becomes the bride of the Creator. And you read the Shear, Shiraim, or the Songs of Songs, you are going to see the relationship. Anyway, here is something very important. Now, I hope that you have got the mashal, and I'm going to read to you something from the chapter 12, okay? Like I say, my dear friend Dennis took a little bit of what I was going to say, and I need to readjust. Okay. Chapter 12 at the beginning, because this is important to understand. And the Lord spoke to Moshe and Aaron in Egypt, and he told them, this is the only HaChodesh Haseh Lechem Rosh Hadashim. And this is the new month. Okay? And in this month will be the head of the month, and for you will be the first month of the year. Okay. The word Hadesh that is translated as a month also can be translated as a lunar time. And here is very interesting. You know, the calendar of the Hebrews is a lunar calendar. You know? That means the Hebrew calendar is female too. Okay? Lunar. And then, you see, the solar calendar is very steady, Freddy. Only to give you an idea, okay? Because it's important that you understand this. The solar calendar, every 4 years, you add 1 day, extra day, to put it all together, you know, in case that the phasing of the time. Yeah, and in February 28, you add an extra day, February 29, every 4 years. No, very steady. Let me tell you, the Hebrew, the lunar calendar, listen carefully, is a term, is a Greek term. It's called a metonic cycle. I won't explain to you anything, but this metonic cycle is in a period of 19 years. 19 years. And these 19 years, there are 7 years, leap years. But they are no one to the other. No. The first start the third year, the next is the sixth year, the next is the 11th year, the next is the 14th year, and the next is the 17th years until the 19 years. That's very. And what do you do during this time? In these leap years, you don't add 1 day. You add a whole month at that too. Okay. Now, females are totally lunar. Okay? Okay? Totally. Some very unpredictable. Okay? You never know when is or when is not. You never know their moods because they are lunar. But the lunar is not exact like the solar. Could be 2 days before, 3 days before, 5 days before, no? And sometimes I jump 1 month. And you do not know what to do with them. And when they are in the lunar time, mírame y no me toques. Look at me and don't touch me. That is Israel. It's totally female. And we need to deal with female psyche. When they are totally dedicated, they are dedicated. But when they gather times of the year, get away from it. Don't touch it. Today, we have advanced so much technologically. Now we have satellites and we have things and that we can calculate. We can be very exact. We have the atomic clock. And we can be exact and we can measure exactly. But at the times, in those times, that was through the moon, appearance of the moon. And they needed to see about the time of Aviv, that is Pesach, the time of spring, the barley. And they needed to look through the men will tell you, I saw the full moon. And they will call them and they needed to be secure. Only to give you a parallel. The Islamic calendar is also lunar, but the Islamic calendar is totally Islamic, totally lunar. Meanwhile, the Hebrew calendar is lunar, but it is put together with is structured in such a way that they make additions in order to make it equal with the solar calendar, to have it parallel, the times. But the Islamic calendar is totally lunar. That's the reason that their festivals that they have change constantly. They don't fall in the same time of period of the year. They are moving. You understand? Then, this is what is good about the idea of the inclusion of the solar calendar. I call it a steady Freddy. They need, they need a masculine side from sometimes to say to the lunar, hey, come back, go to your place. No? And then the lunar calendar start getting in their place. In ancient and primitive societies and religions, they had this idea that the sun was the male and the moon was the female. The idea was to try to explain certain things. But the Creator, and that is the Borei Olam, He made everything. And He did everything for a reason. And when this nation was born, Israel needed to go through the process of growing up. What happened with a baby after it's born is totally dependent from the mother. In this case, who is the real mother? The Creator. El Shaddai will take it on his arms and feed the baby. But the baby needs to grow fast. After the traumatic experience they have had from going from some kind of breathing to the other type of regular breathing, now he's aware, and he, for the first time, is independent of the womb of the mother. He needs to start again for himself or herself. And that process is the time of growing and the time of maturing. Israel needed to have a very crash course of learning. This is the reason that Pesach is considering such a special hag or festival. And the first, interestingly, the first mitzvah commandment that's given to Israel is exactly this one. And it's always to remember for the rest of our lives. Why? Because when we are born and we know where we are coming from, let's not forget who are we. And we are going to keep growing, but we have this direction, this alignment with the Creator. And it's important, very important, to be grateful to our parents, what they have given us life. It's interesting that in the scriptures, we are told that we need to treat well the Egyptians. Why? Because they sustained us for a time. Even that we were mistreated by them, we don't have the right to judge them. A very good principle about honor your father and your mother. Honor those one that has helped you in your life. Even with the good or bad, you need to be present. This is the idea about the building of a nation, because it's coming finally to become somebody that is going to do something, is going to participate in history. The most beautiful thing that we're going to see later on is about how the Creator, he defined himself by history, not by what he's capable to do. What I can tell you is, the creator of the whole world. He can say, I created the whole world. But what did he say at the beginning of giving the 10 words of the 10 commandments? I am the God who took you out, who delivered you from Egypt. And I like the word deliver, because literally it was deliver. Ladies, you are very important in the makeup of this world. The Creator make you for something very special, for nurturing the world. You are very important. We are living in times in which we are going backwards. We have confused with the idea of roles with the idea of superiority or inferiority. Israel was not considered a superior nation over any other one, was co-equal with others, but had a very important role to deliver. Israel is no better than anybody else, as many times we try to make it, but it has a great responsibility. And it's for that reason that we need to be different. We are going to see in the Barim, in chapter 7, 8, and 9, that very clear. Moshe Rabbeinu is telling us that the Creator didn't choose us because we are the greatest nation in the world, or because we were the most intelligent in the world, or we are the best in the world. Totally the contrary, because we were the least. Why? Because in that way, the Creator was showing us something very interesting in the relationship. That we need to be dependent on Him, but at the same time exercise our own free will. And this is such a very difficult area. Has confused theologians, has confused philosophers, even has confused our sages. Why? Because how do you balance from one side our Creator leading His people, and from the other side the Vehirah of Shear, the free will? Many of us, we do not understand what a great honor we have when the Creator has given us the Vehirah of Shear, the free will. And He has said to us, I give you this freedom for you to act on your own. But Behirahoshi means equal responsibility. You cannot do whatever you want to do, because whatever you do are consequences. But at the same time, we need to depend on him. There are many group of people that they want to have all the goodies, but they don't have to have any responsibility. And this is the problem, why it's so important to understand Israel as a nation. The Creator chose Israel for a reason. To be Or Legoyim, light to the nations. To bring the Torah to the rest of the nations. But at the same time, they had the freedom to do whatever they wanted to do. And that could be a collision between the Creator and the people of Israel. And we are going to see in this period of 40 years, those struggles. You're going to see something very interesting that many say sometimes they don't talk because it's too hard for them to say these things. Israel didn't come out on their own will. Israel needed to be aborted, it needed to be delivered, spelled out. Sorry, I made you the bad word. Needed to be born. Israel was very comfortable in Goshen. Israel was saying, well, Pharaoh, let me keep myself as a slave. No problem, but don't push me too much. I am very comfortable. Don't rock my chair. And the Creator knew that if Israel stayed in that situation, Israel will never become what it needed to be. Because Israel can have only one boss. Baruch. Now, we need to look at this. He chose Israel. But who is Israel? My friend Dennis was talking about. What is very interesting. You know, this idea of pure land, you know, the pure blood, you know, the blue blood, that is in certain way, is a myth. Because from the first time that Israel was born, was mixed, was not totally pure. Salinovs are sages, by the way, many of them, and great sages. They blame the Ereb Rab for all the misfortunes of Israel. And it's very good to blame the neighbor. He made me do it. You know, Adam and Eve, Heva. We're looking to blame somebody else instead to look at our own responsibilities and our own facts. In this Ereb Rab, there were many Egyptians who came out because they saw the power of the Creator. Because what we do not understand is this battle that was between Pharaoh and Moshe Rabbeinu. The Creator wanted to show to Israel and to Egypt and the world who was the only true God. There was no other one. And every play demonstrated, and they say in the scriptures, that was to defeat and to make a mockery of the God of the Egypt, in order that they see who the true God is for Israel and for Egypt. And finally, Egypt realized that. If you read the last portion from verses 33 down in chapter 12, the Egyptians are begging Israel to leave, and they're going to pay them. Please leave, I give you money, go. We don't want you here. And many of them went with Israel because they saw the true God. That's what happened here in our community too. Many of you come from the Arab Rab, from the mixed multitude. But you decided to live with Israel because you saw the true God. And you took the true God with you. And you become part of Israel. Now, Pesach is a very interesting festival. Because to me, is the festival of festivals because it's the initiation. And this is the festival who makes Israel. And what we need to look is at the end, from verses 43 and down. Who can partake of this festival? And it's very clear. You know, the Torah speaks very clear. For those of you, the Lord told Moshe and Aaron, this is a decree, this is a hookah, for the offerings on Pesach. No one who is a foreigner will eat from it. You know, the Torah is very interesting. In the Torah, there is no before or after, all depending how the Torah, it is pedagogical, trying to teach you through different ways. But here, first of all, we're going to tell you one thing, and then he's going to clarify. And then he say, if you have a slave, I mean a bought person that belongs to you, that person can participate only if what? Is circumcised. What is the label for being part of Israel? Being circumcised. And you know what? Other religions, they teach you that the only thing that you need to circumcise is your heart. You know, that's not what I teach the Torah, but it's okay. And then they say, you need to circumcise them. You need to circumcise them. That is, the onus is on Israel. They need to what? To teach them. Then, if there is a toshav, a resident among you, or a foreigner who is being working for you, no? They cannot eat it. But then he say, 48, 47 is all the congregation of Israel needs to bring, and then he say, in 48, Vehi yagur ikha ger beasa pesach leadonai himol. In other words, if you are a toshav, you are a foreigner, you are an outsider, and you want to be part of us, because the Pesach define Israel, you are welcome. But you have something to do. You need to be circumcised. If you are not circumcised, you cannot partake Pesach. I got with it, when I told this before, in this community, more or less, more than almost 20 years ago now, okay? I almost was lynched by some people. because they told me, you are a segregationist, you are a, huh? A Yehudite, a Judaize, a Judaize. I was insulted. Even people who were very faithful, supposedly, they insulted me and they sent me notes and they spoke so bad about me. And the only thing I told them is, look at the scriptures. You know, we choose the messenger and we don't look at the message. Because in 49, this is a beautiful statement that you can find it in Vayikra again, and also in the rest of the Torah, especially in Bamidbar, chapter 15. Torah Achat, Yigye le Azrach Belager Hagar Betohehem. Torah Achat. Only one Torah. Only one. For me and for you. If I teach you a different Torah for you, I am wrong. If I tell you that because you are a foreigner, or because you are not part of Israel, you don't need the Torah, I am lying to you. And today, sadly enough, these two major religions, Rabbinical Judaism and Christianity, each one they are teaching you exactly the opposite of what Torah teaches you. Rabbinical Judaism, they say that only the Torah is for the Jews. And the Gentiles, they don't need to keep it, they don't need to learn it, they don't need to do anything. They are happy with the 7 Noahide laws that doesn't exist, but they invent it. Like you are inferior to me because I need to take more. And Christianity teaches you, we are now, hallelujah, we are under grace. And because we are under grace, we are not any longer under the curse of the law. Can you believe that the Torah for that religion is a curse? That tells you who is right and who is wrong. Then, if you want to ask yourself, are you part of Israel? Search your heart and look within yourself. What the Creator is telling you to be. Because the birthing of a nation was born to bring light to the world. This nation has a role, and the role is to be Orle Goyim. As the women were created to have a role, to be the nurturers, the men were created to be the supporters and the protectors. When we change the roles, we're going directly against the Creator. You know, a cat cannot be a dog. And a dog cannot be a cat. Even if there are dogs that they think they're cats, and cats that they think they are dogs. God made cats and made dogs. God made males and made females. And doesn't matter why you're trying to change it. That's it. He made Israel and made the nations. And Israel has a role. Blessed be Baruch Hu. Now, the only thing that we need to do is to think about this. And I hope that we have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.